These are the directions for Island Conquer, perimeter directions. The objective is to create and conquer as many islands as possible. Score points according to the perimeter of each island you capture. So you're trying to, for each perimeter, you'd add up the length plus the length plus the width plus the width, all the four sides to score the most points. You'll need a materials conquer board, which I'll show you that in a minute, 2 crayons, one for you and one for your partner, and a page of coordinate cards. And you'll cut those apart and put them in a baggie, or your teacher will have them bagged for you to play the game. The directions. Each player chooses one color to use on the game board. Color the key at the top of the board accordingly. Cut apart the coordinate cards and stack them face down near the game board. Player 1 draws out a card and plots the 4 points according to the coordinates on the card. Player 1 uses his or her crayon to connect the points and form a rectangle or square. Player 1 finds its perimeter and writes that number inside the figure, thereby conquering the island. Player 2 checks Player 1's work. Player 2 draws out another card and repeats step 2 using his or her crayon. Player 1 checks Player 2's work. Players continue taking turns creating and conquering islands, finding the perimeter of each figure. At the end of the game, players add up their points by tallying the total perimeter of the islands. The player with the most points becomes island king or queen. This is the Island Conquer board game. You and your partner will each need one board game and one set of coordinate cards. This is the Island Conquer game board. As you can see, player 1 picked purple and player 2 picked blue. Player 1 chose the card 10, 13, 10, 18, 13, 13, and 13, 18. So she went over to 10 at the bottom, and she went up to 13, and she drew a dot there. Then she went over to the 10 again, and went up to the 18, and drew a dot there. And then she went over to 13, and up to 13, and drew a dot there. She went over to 13, and drew a dot at 13, 18. Now she's going to count the outside of her shape, the length plus the length plus the width plus the width, to figure out what the perimeter of her shape is, and she's going to write that inside her shape. So when player 1 counted each of the sides, she added 3 plus 3 plus 5 plus 5, and her answer is 16. So she wrote 16 inside her shape. So player 2 drew a card, and the coordinates she drew were 14, 12, 15, 12, 14, 17, and 15, 17. And she drew a line or dot on each of those points. Player 2 connected each of those dots and then counted the perimeter of her shape. Her shape was 12. The perimeter of her shape was 12. So she added 1 plus 1 is 2, and 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 2 is 12. So right now, the player 1, purple player, is winning because she has the biggest total of her perimeter. The 2 players would continue playing until they used all of the plot cards or until time ran out. Whenever time runs out or they have used all the plot cards, the purple player will add up all of her total perimeters, and the blue player will add up all of her total perimeters, and the person with the highest total perimeter is the winner. So like right now, if we had to quit playing, the purple player would be the winner because she has a perimeter of 16 and the blue player only has a perimeter of 12.